Victoria is back under curfew. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee, because this is frankly a sad one for Victorians. You're back under curfew, among other things. Wonderful. It's almost like they don't appreciate the psychological damage this is going to have on a large proportion of the population. For many people, it won't make any difference, and I understand that. But for others, it's going to be a big issue. Is it worth it? Will we ever know the answer to that question? Let's have a look. Fortunately, no other, at least I don't know if we had a curfew here in Queensland. I'm wondering if other places have. Looks like Darwin has their first snap lockdown as well. It's the in thing, guys. It's the cool thing. It's what they're going to do again and again and again. Extended Melbourne lockdown to keep Victorians safe. Für deine Sicherheit. Due to the ongoing level of community transmission of coronavirus in Victoria, the current lockdowns across Melbourne will be extended and a curfew will be put in place across metropolitan Melbourne. After almost 2 weeks of restrictions in Victoria, it's clear the number of coronavirus cases out in the community is still too high. It's spreading too far, and there are too many exposure sites cropping up every day. The average exposure days, the number of days an infection person is out in the community, was 0.61, and declining at this point of our previous outbreak. In the current outbreak, the average exposure days is 1.8. To put that more simply, cases diagnosed yesterday were infectious in the community for a total of 15 days, compared to 0 for the same point during the last outbreak. So, well, there you go. Most concerningly, there have been a number of mystery cases discovered over the course of the last week, which indicate the virus is moving around undetected in the community. Victoria's public health team believe additional measures are needed to limit movement across Melbourne to slow the spread of this highly infectious Delta variant and enable us to open up again as soon as possible. Then for how long? What? Open up for another 2 weeks? Open up for another month? People are starting up their businesses, getting their stock again, so they can just be screwed over right within a month's time. How long can we keep doing this? Unfortunately, based on the current trajectory of the outbreak, we will not be in a position to lift restrictions on Thursday as planned. Victoria's Chief Health Officer has declared that from tonight the lockdown restrictions will be strengthened and extended in metropolitan Melbourne until 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, the 2nd of September, next month. This is an additional 14 days on the previous direction. So there you go. Not just extending by 1 week, but by another 2 weeks. The strengthened settings will see a curfew imposed from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. every night. This will operate as it did last year, with very limited reasons to leave home during this time. There will be increased police presence across metropolitan Melbourne to ensure public health measures are enforced. While the restrictions commence from 11:59 p.m. tonight, we are asking people to respect the curfew from 9 p.m. Permits will be required to leave the house. For authorised work, consistent with the arrangements that were in place last year. Additional restrictions will also apply to the construction industry, again, operating as it did last year, with staffing reductions in place except for critical infrastructure and emergency repairs. At large-scale construction sites, staffing must reduce to 25% or 5 workers on site, whichever is higher. What? How can you have a large construction site with only 5 workers? Maybe, is that the security guards patrolling? Authorised workers will be required to carry permits when working and when travelling from work from 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, August 17th. The permits need to be certified by an employer. Permits will be available on the coronavirus website before these directions come into effect. Permits will also need to be carried by higher education students who are on the authorised provider list. Isn't this fantastic, everyone? It's just sad, isn't it? Incidents which occurred in Melbourne over the weekend, people congregating together on pub crawls with no social distancing, different families meeting in parks together, large groups of people visiting other households are unacceptable. Under the strengthened restrictions designed to curb potential transmission, events, playgrounds, basketball hoops, skate parks and outdoor exercise equipment will now be closed. People will not be able to remove their masks to drink alcoholic beverages in public. Oh, you've got a mask mandate down there as well. What is going on? I think that there's going to be a point where people will just say, let it rip, and let it happen. Exercise will be limited to just you and one other person, plus dependents if they can't be left at home. This is similar to the current rule, but with a slight change, so that if you live in a larger household, such as a share house or with extended family, you can no longer exercise with all members of your household. Otherwise, the restrictions will remain the same. There are still only 5 reasons to leave your home: shopping for things you need, 1 person per household per day, care and caregiving, exercise, authorized work and study, and to get vaccinated. Exercise and shopping are still limited to 5 kilometers from your home. If there are no shops in your 5-kilometer radius, you can travel to the one closest to you. You're also able to travel more than 5 kilometers to get a vaccine if you need to. And more than ever, it's critical people do not have visitors to the home. Increasing our vaccination coverage in Victoria also remains one of the most important things we can do, given the current coronavirus outbreak and the potential for further interstate incursions this year. We're making it even easier for Victorians to reach the goal of 1 million vaccine doses, with more vaccination centres, more capacity and more appointments in the system. All Victorians are encouraged where possible to book their vaccination appointments by visiting such and such. So let's have a look. Let's look at what the Twitter responses are to Dan Andrews posting this media statement. I'll just make sure we can see it here. So here we go. So from Jeanette, maybe that should be Karen. To all the whingers here, if you gathered in groups in parks and playgrounds and outside pubs, if you didn't bother wearing with your mask, if you're modelling rule flouting to your kids, these restrictions are on you. It didn't have to be this way. Playgrounds are closed. Kids aren't to blame for idiots out partying, yet kids are being punished again. Someone's not happy with Dan. I think this is a mistake and won't stop the rule breakers. You've now shifted from coercion to blaming the public. What do you mean shifted? That's been happening all the time. What if these further draconian measures don't work? By all means, lengthen the lockdown. By all means, lengthen the lockdown. Okay. But these measures take a further sledgehammer to people's mental health. At least the understanding. Following basic health rules, 3-month lockdown. What curfews do? Curfews gives cops license to harass marginalized groups. Virus still spreads during the day. Public health reason, no. What else? Thanks for keeping us safe. Is this a real account? Let's have a look. Is this a real person? Early stage investing. It looks like it. We don't follow any of the same people. Not that I'm very active on it. Although they are following 666 people, so it could be a troll. This has to be a troll account. No one can believe that. Glad you feel safe. Yeah, I think Andrew there's responding to a troll. I'm a 3rd-generation Labor voter. How can that happen? Just copy what your parents vote for? I mean, I guess that's it. I'm hoping people will become politically active because of this and remember what happened. My grandfather would turn in his grave if I voted otherwise, but you've lost me. I voted for a Labor candidate to make decisions about the whole of society. I didn't vote for the government to be delegated to Brett Sutton. Well, Labor doesn't make decisions for the whole of society. If you're a white man and don't tick the right gender quota boxes, they don't give a crap about you. Anyway, thank you, Dan. Lost the plot, mate. Would you rather be in New South Wales right now? So it's a whole mix. I mean, this is Twitter. So it's not really a representation of normal people. So with that in mind, what's the solution to this? Remember who voted for the extension of emergency powers, which politicians backed it, and look for alternatives. Send a message to Dan. I'm surprised he got in. I really am. But then again, I was looking at all of the crime stats and that type of stuff when there was the Victorian election. I think most people just follow the headlines. And I think a lot of people will be happy that they're being kept safe. What do you think? Thank you all for watching, everyone. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Sign up for SelfWealth or Stake. Use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.